Abidjan is the economic capital of Ivory Coast and the most populous French-speaking city in West Africa. According to the 2014 Ivory Coast census, Abidjan's population was 4.7 million, which is 20% of the overall population of the country. Within West Africa, only Lagos, the former capital of Nigeria, surpasses Abidjan in population. Considered the cultural crossroads of West Africa, Abidjan is characterized by a high level of industrialisation and urbanisation. The city expanded quickly after the construction of a new wharf in 1931, followed by its designation as the capital city of the then French colony in 1933. Abidjan remained the capital of Ivory Coast after its independence from France in 1960. The completion of the Vridi Canal in 1951 enabled Abidjan to become an important seaport. In 1983, the city of Yamoussoukro was designated as the official political capital of Côte d'Ivoire. However, almost all political institutions and foreign embassies continue to be located in Abidjan. Because Abidjan is also the largest city in the country and the center of its economic activity, it has officially been designated as the economic capital of the country. The Abidjan Autonomous District, which encompasses the city and some of its suburbs, is one of the 14 districts of Ivory Coast. Geography: Abidjan lies on the southeast coast of the country, on the Gulf of Guinea. The city is located on the Ebrié Lagoon. The business district, Le Plateau, is the center of the city, along with Cocody de Plateau, and Adjamé, Slum on the north shore of the lagoon. Tricval and Makori lie to the south, Atekoub, Lokodro, Abarbodoumi and Yopougon to the west, and Isle Boli is located in the middle of the lagoon. Further south lies Port Bouet, home to the airport and main seaport. Abidjan is located at 5 degrees 25 north, 4 degrees 2 west. Climate: the city has a tropical wet and dry climate with a long rainy season from May through July, a short rainy season and 2 dry seasons, though rain is seen even during these dry seasons. Abidjan is generally humid throughout the year, with humidity generally at 80% or higher. During the rainy season it can rain continuously for several consecutive days, or intensely for over an hour. The rainfall is abundant at about 2,000 mm per year. The monthly rainfall varies between about 20 mm and 500 mm in January to June, and the temperature is almost constant at around 27 degrees Celsius. The highest record temperature was 43 degrees Celsius on February 27, 1999, and the lowest record temperature was 15 degrees Celsius on September 11, 2000. Territorial division: Abidjan is composed of 2 parts with 10 formal boroughs, or communes, each being run by a mayor. Communes of northern Abidjan: Abarbo consists mainly of public housing. Abarbo has a large population of migrants with low income. However, this area has developed spontaneously. Adjamé developed from the village of Abria, which existed before Abidjan developed. Although small in size and polluted, this commune is commercially very important for the Ivorian economy. Its market contains a varied shopping district and its bus station is the Ivory Coast's main hub for international bus lines. Yopougon is the most populous commune of Abidjan, lying partly in northern Abidjan and partly across the lagoon in southern Abidjan. It is home to industrial and residential areas. The research station ORSDOM, Pasteur Institute, and a training hospital are located in this commune. Plateau is Ivory Coast's business center, with very modern, tall buildings. Although the governmental and administrative capital of Ivory Coast was officially transferred to Yamoussoukro in 1983, the institutions of the republic such as the presidency and National Assembly are still located in plateau. It is the main administrative, commercial and financial center of Ivory Coast. Atek-Oubé contains Banco Forest, classified as a national park. Cocody is famous for its residential districts de Plateau and Riviera. The University of Cocody, a public institution, and some private universities are located within the commune. Radio-television Ivoirienne is located in Cocody. The President of the Republic resides in this commune. Cocody also contains the Embassy District. Communes of southern Abidjan, Koumassi. This commune has an important industrial area. Marcory. This commune is mainly a residential area. Bayetri and Zone 4 are residential areas where many foreigners live. Port Bouet. This commune includes a refinery and the Félix Houphouët-Boigny International Airport. There is also an established office of the IRD, the center of Little Bassam. The famous lighthouse sweeps the Gulf of Guinea for several nautical miles. Vridi. The beach area is busy every weekend, although the ocean is very rough, a phenomenon widely along the Gulf of Guinea. From 1950, Vridi has become the main employment areas in Abidjan because of the increasing number of factories and warehouses. Trikeville. This commune is home to the autonomous port of Abidjan and many shops. The port area is also an industrial area. There is also the Pool of State Trikeville, the Palace of Sports Trikeville, the Palace of Culture, Street 12, Racetrack Abidjan. Isle Boli. Suburbs. The main towns which are near Abidjan are Jacqueville, Grand Lahou and Dabou in the west, Sikansi, Tiestle, Agboville, Adsofe and Aleppo in the north, and Grand Bassam to the east. The towns of Anyama, Bingerville, Brofadame and Songon are within the Abidjan department, which is co-extensive with the autonomous district. Origin of the name Abidjan. According to oral tradition of the Hébrier as reported in the Encyclopedic Dictionary of Côte d'Ivoire, the name Abidjan results from a misunderstanding. Legend states that an old man carrying branches to repair the roof of his house met a European explorer who asked him the name of the nearest village. The old man did not speak the language of the explorer and thought that he was being asked to justify his presence in that place. Terrified by this unexpected meeting, he fled shouting, "Minchan Abidjan," which means in the Hébrier language, "I just cut the leaves." The explorer, thinking that his question had been answered, recorded the name of the locale as Abidjan, a slightly different and less elaborate version of the legend. When the first colonists asked a native man the name of the place, the man misunderstood and replied, "Mbi Mindi Jan, I've just been cutting leaves." History. Colonial-era Abidjan was originally a small fishing village. In 1896, following a series of deadly yellow fever epidemics, the French colonists who first settled in Bassam decided to move to a safer place. They located in the current location of Abidjan in 1898, and in 1903 it received town status. The movement was followed by the colonial government created in 1899. Although nearby Bingerville became capital of the French colony from 1900 until 1934, the future Abidjan, situated on the edge of the lagoon in Dupe, offered more land and greater opportunities for trade expansion. The wharf in Petit Bassam south of the town quickly overtook in importance the wharf of Grand Bassam and the main economic access to the colony. In 1904, the rail terminus was located in the Port Bouet area of Abidjan. From 1904, when Bingerville was not yet complete, Abidjan became the main economic hub of the colony of Ivory Coast and a prime channel for distributing products to the European hinterland, particularly through the Lebanese community, which was increasingly important. Henry Terrasson de Fougère became governor of French Sudan in 1924, and remained the governor until his death in 1931. One of the main streets of Abidjan still bears his name. In 1931, Plateau and what became Tricville were connected next to the Hofo-Boigny Bridge by a floating bridge. That year, it was first addressed as the Streets of Abidjan. It temporarily held the name in 1964, under the leadership of Mayor Conan Kanga, completed by the Americans in 1993. Abidjan became the third capital of Ivory Coast, after Grand Bassam and Bingerville, in 1934. Several villages in Tichamin were then deserted. It is particularly Ajame, located at the north of the plateau, which is still the leader of the Tichamin community. South of the Plateau district, the village of Dugbayo was moved across the lagoon to Anamabo, the forest of fruit bats, which became the neighborhood of Tricville. This area was thus renamed in 1934 in honor of Marcel Tricloplenny, the first explorer of Ivory Coast and its first colonial administrator. Considered its founder, instead of Dugbayo, is the current Tricloplenny Avenue, the bus station and water lagoon buses in Plateau, and the Avenue Charles de Gaulle. The city was laid out like the usual colonial towns as a grid plan. Le Plateau was inhabited by settlers. In the north, the city was inhabited by the colonized. The two zones were separated by the Gallieni military barracks, instead of the current courthouse. Near the port, originally named Boulevard de Marseille, settlers became defensive and stole a street sign of a famous street of Marseille renamed the street Canberra, a soundtrack. This is the legend behind the first blowhorn oil mills in Cocody, and a racetrack was built in the south of the city. Le Plateau in the 1940s, the Bowden Park Hotel was built and was the first air-conditioned hotel working in Francophone Africa. Abidjan's lagoon became connected to the sea once the 15 meters deep Vridi Canal was completed in 1950. Soon Abidjan would become the financial center of West Africa. In 1958, the first bridge to connect Petit Bassam Island with the mainland was completed. After independence in 1960, the old settler town became the administrative center and business headquarters of the presidency. The axis south of Tricville, towards the international airport and the beaches, became the headquarters of European and middle-class Abidjan. Since the 1980s, despite undeniable improvements and because of the negligence of officials, corruption as well as general degradation of the city of Abidjan has been prevalent. In 1983, the village of Yamoussoukro became the new political capital of Ivory Coast under the leadership of President Félix Houphouët-Boigny, who was born there. Since 1999, Abidjan has suffered from the consequences of the First and Second Ivorian Civil War. In November 2004, action was taken on the anti-French riots and looting. The Cocody district, famous for a gentleman embodied in film by Jean Marais, a vast indigenous district according to the colonial urban pattern, became an upscale neighborhood including the presidential residence, the Embassy of France, Hotel Ivoire, and since 2006, the largest U.S. embassy in Africa. Large areas have grown popular among these districts, extended by areas of poor housing and poverty fed by the rural exodus and sub-regional immigration. In 2006, pollutants from landfills were released which caused a vast amount of people to become seriously ill. Politics, administration, organization. Formerly managed by the French colonial administration, Abidjan became a municipality in 1956, and was divided into administrative areas by lagoons. Its first municipal council was elected on the 18th of November 1956, and the first mayor in the context of the Framework Law of 1956 was President President Félix Houphouët-Boigny. A law which was established in 1978 created 27 municipalities in the country. After the application of this new organization, Julo Emmanuel was elected mayor of Abidjan on the 30th of November 1980. Since 2001, the city has been divided into 10 boroughs. In 2011, the autonomous district of Abidjan was established, with rural sub-prefectures in Anyama, Binjaville, Rofodame, and Songon. The autonomous district is coextensive with the Abidjan department, which was established in 1969 and has had its current boundaries since 1998. In 2011, the post of mayor of Abidjan was replaced by the district governor, appointed by the head of state. The position has been occupied by Robert Bugre Mambe since 2011. Each of the 10 communes of Abidjan has its own municipal council headed by a mayor. The last municipal elections were held in March 2001. The sub-prefectures of the autonomous district also have their own mayors and councils. The communes of Ababo, Adjamé, Atek, Ube, Cocody, and Plateau are located north of the Ebrié Lagoon. This is the continental part of Abidjan. The commune of Yopougon straddles the lagoon, with part lying north and part south of the body of water. The communes of Trigueville, Goumassi, Marcory, and Port-Bouet in Abidjan are south of the lagoon. Blocasso and Locodro villages are included within the city and maintain cultural identity in urban areas. Places of interest: the University of Abidjan, technical colleges, and the National Library of Ivory Coast and National Museum are in the city. Sites in Abidjan include St. Paul's Cathedral, designed by Aldo Spirito, the Cocody Municipal Museum of Contemporary Art, and the Parc du Bango Rainforest Reserve. Plateau is known for its skyscrapers, unusual in West Africa. Plateau is the business center of Abidjan, with its gleaming skyscrapers, high-end shops, and outdoor cafes. Plateau is a favorite place of business travelers. There are many different banks located in the Plateau district. Government institutions: the majority of Ivorian government institutions are still located in Abidjan and have not been transferred to the political capital Yamoussoukro. The President's office is in Cocody, and the Parliament, the Constitutional Council, the Supreme Court, and the Chancellery of the National Order are all in Plateau. Under the presidency of Laurent Gbagbo, efforts were made to give effect to the project of making the political capital Yamoussoukro in Ivory Coast. This goal continues to be the consensus of the country's political leaders. Government offices are located in Le Plateau in the administrative district of Abidjan, Boulevard Card or Anglevent Boulevard, or elsewhere in the great buildings of the town. Security: since 2004, when all prisoners of Abidjan were released from prison, insecurity has increased significantly. Increase in crimes, misdemeanors, and drug seizures. Besides the presence of the police and the impartial forces, French soldiers based in Port-Bouet and the Ivorian Army were created in 2000 by the CECOS and several private security firms. In 2007, Permanent Danger by Pierre Labre, a film about the laxity of the police against the banditry in major African cities in the image of the Ivorian capital, was out in cinema. Police: Abidjan is divided into districts, each of which has a police station. The municipal police and national police are distinguished. The police's training center located in the town of Cocody, where all police are trained. They are recruited by competitive examination held by the police administration. The policy includes several sections. It is the BAE, whose base is located in the Yopougon north of the city. The CRS, whose main base is located in Williamsville, also includes a secondary base called called CRS-2, which is located in Zone 4 in the town of Marcory. The force and CECOS accompany the police. The main base of the gendarmerie is Agban, another in Ababo and Kumasi. It also has training school de gendarmerie in Cocody and the city. Drugs. Since 2000, Ivory Coast has experienced a sharp rise in drug trafficking. The drug dens occur mainly in informal settlements, and there has been a recent spike in demand among young unemployed and Ivorian vagrants. The Ivorian police are increasingly focused on the fight against trafficking and drug use in the district of Abidjan. A report by the Office of the UN says West Africa plays an increasingly important role in the transit of cocaine to Latin America and Europe. According to an investigation by a United Nations Commission for the Fight Against Drug Trafficking, 46% of adolescents in West Africa are dependent on illegal drugs. In May 2007, 7 drug houses were dismantled and 191 people arrested, including a military officer. French military base. Abidjan is home to Port Bouet, one of the 6 French military bases that still exist in Africa. Thousands of people live there. Around the 43rd BIMA, which is permanently put in place in accordance with established defense agreements on the 24th of April 1961 linking the two countries. Relationships and partnerships, diplomacy and international bodies. Abidjan is the regional headquarters of major international institutions: UNICEF, UN Development Programme, World Health Organization, World Food Programme, UNOPS, UNFPA, International Labour Organization, International Monetary Fund, etc. International nations all have representation in Abidjan, most of which serve sub-region. The American Embassy is located in Ivory Coast, while the African Development Bank moved for a while to Tunisia, which is the largest financial institution in Africa. Twin towns. Sister cities. Abidjan is sisters with Tianjin, China; Marseille, France; São Paulo, Brazil; San Francisco, US; Alphattville, France; Kumasi, Ghana; Ponto Combo, France; Boulogne-Billancourt, France. Miscellaneous. In the 1980s, Jean Bedel Bokassa took refuge in Abidjan after his ouster from power in the Central African Republic.